Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video program. We are discussing about different units of different courses of MA Education program of Indira Gandhi National Open University. We have started our discussion from the first course. The course code is MES 011 and course title is Understanding Education. I have already said that this course MES 011 Understanding Education is a type of bridge course, and mostly the topics and themes related to basics of education, the basic concept of education have been discussed in this course. And you see, so far as eligibility to take admission to this program is concerned, to this MA education program is concerned, any graduate can take, can enroll in this program, can take admission. So any graduate means without, a degree of education as a subject, or those have not studied education as a subject, they can also pursue this MA education program. So friends, this course specifically has been keeping in consideration, keeping in need of that group of students, those have not studied education as a subject at their graduation level. So that's why mostly you will find that the basic concept, basic discourses, and basic aspects of education that a master's student should learn. So very briefly this has been discussed in this course, and further this course will help that group of learners for understanding other courses of MA education program, just like your MES 012, 013, 014, 015, 016. At the same time, different specialized areas that has been kept in the second year of this program. Friends, today we will discuss Unit 9 of MES 011 Understanding Education. We have already discussed in our earlier video up to Unit 8. Okay, so today we will focus our discussion on Unit 9. The title of Unit 9 is Educational Goals as Reflective of Socio-Political Ideology of the Society. So friends, before discussing this unit, let me to clear one thing, that during at the beginning of my discussion, I have explained, I have illustrated that every discipline, every subject is having certain context and having certain perspectives. So just like education as a discipline, as a subject, it has its own context and perspective. So what are the perspective? You see, every discipline is having a historical perspective, every discipline is having a philosophical perspective, an intellectual perspective, a socio-political perspective. Okay, so accordingly, here education as a discipline is also having philosophical perspective, psychological perspective, sociological perspective, or socio-political perspective, okay, historical perspective, as well as intellectual perspective, or and historical or developmental perspective also. So friends, when we talk about the socio-political ideology of the society and reflection of educational goal from this socio-political ideology of the society, so you can say critically it discusses about the socio-political perspective of education. So friends, as I was telling that just to have discussed the concept in this course, you have another course that is MES 014. The course code is 014, that is Societal Context of Education. So you will find that in Societal Context of Education, that is the fourth course of MA education program. So detailed socio-political perspective that has been discussed in that course. But here just I have said that this is a type of bridge course. So we will just link you for understanding MES 014, that is the socio-political, that is the societal context of education. So friends, from this unit, we will try to understand the political system, we will try to understand the educational system, and we will also try to understand that how political system and educational system are correlated with each other, linked with each other. Okay, and you see how the educational system that gets reflected from the political system of this state, political system of this country, and many a time you can say that it is affected by the political system, it is influenced by the political system. Here we are not discussing negatively, we are discussing it in a very constructive way, that the political system of a country how dominates its educational system, and accordingly the policies, the rules and regulations, the norms and standards that has been framed in education. So friends, in this unit we'll start our discussion from the political system, then further we will enter understanding the education system, then we'll conclude this unit with education and politics, means the relationship between these two, education and politics. So friends, the objective, the learning outcome of this program or of this unit, that is to discuss the role of politics in education, then to explain the relationship between politics and education, then further to enumerate the role of various components of both the systems, that is politics and education, in deciding the goals of education. Then further we will try to explain the process of policy formulation for setting goals in education, and of course we will discuss the relationship between politics or the polity and education. So friends, as I have already said that the socio-political system or the political parties, you can say, the form of government, the ideology of different political parties, directly or indirectly it reflects in the education system, in the educational system of this country. So let me to give two examples. If we talk about a democratic form of government, and if you when we talk about a communist form of government, you will just find out, you can understand that what is the difference between two forms of government and how it reflects in education system, of these two forms of government. You see, when we talk about the communism or the communist form of government, you will find that the ideology, the vision, the ideas and ideals of communism form of government, you will find that they understand or they consider state is the supremacy, means for flourishing the taste, for the development of the state, everything that has been designed, means the education system has been designed keeping in consideration of the need, interest, and you can say need of the society, or need of the country, need of the nation. Means individual are considered as the second priority, but the first priority is the state. Means the development of state is the sole responsibility of the citizen of a communist state, you can say. But when we talk about a democratic form of government, you will find that the individual right, the citizen of this country, they are given utmost priority. Okay, the right of the individual, at the same time, the development of the individual is given utmost priority, because in a democratic form of government, the state considers, the government considers that development of the individual, progress of the individual is directly linked with the progress of the society, the progress of the nation, the progress of the country. So you see, ultimately you will find the aim of two forms of government, okay, democratic form of government and communist form of government, you will find that they talk for the development of the state, for the development of the nation, but you see the means are different. So here individual are used as a power, but in a democratic form of government, but in a communist form of government you will find that state is powerful. Okay, so whatever state will decide individual or the citizen of that state, they have to obey, they have to follow, they have to do it. But here, in a democratic form of government, you will find the policies, the schemes, the projects, and the developments of education that has been that are done keeping in consideration the need of the individual. Okay, so here the individual right, individual power, individual abilities, okay, and you can say the aptitude, or you can say the attribute of the individual that are given top priority. So that's why we can say that a political system is having a direct link with education. So friends, when we talk about the committees and commissions, you can say every country, whatever form of government may be, you will find that for the development of education, for the development of national system of education, in different at different times, different committees and commissions that has been developed, that has been established in the countries, and you will find that the recommendations of the committees and commissions that has been you will find the recommendations are as per the vision, as per the ideology, as per the ideas of the form of government. You can just take the example, even if we can talk about different political parties. Okay, so you take example of any country. Okay, so when you take the example of the country of India, you will find we have a multi-party system here. Okay, I'm not taking name of any political parties, but we have many political parties. But you will find that every political party is having their own agenda. Every political party is having their own vision. They're having own ideology. They're having own ideas on education. Okay, and during the election period, the political parties, you might have observed that they issue certain vision. They issue in their manifesto. They included what they will do for the coming 5 years. What is their understanding about education? Okay, so what type of educational development that political party conceptualize if they will come to the power, then what are the things they will do for the primary education, for the secondary education, for the higher education, for the technical education, for the women education, for the minorities, okay, for the backward caste, for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, for the weaker section people. Okay, so friends, you will find in their manifesto that what they conceptualize, what they understand, to the citizen, and what they understand the education system should be, the education policy should be. So that's why you see different political parties, when they come power, they want to implement that they had included in their manifesto. Okay, so if they have talked about protection of human rights, protection of education of the minority community, of the you can say the weaker section of the population of the society, then accordingly they will develop certain schemes, certain projects, then they will implement those schemes and projects. You see, these are happened particularly in a democratic countries. But when we talk about a communist form of government, it means the manifesto of a communist form of government that has been prepared keeping in consideration of the need of the society, keeping in consideration of the need of the nation and need of the country. You see, that is a socialistic pattern of government. They believe in equal distribution of the wealth, but it is not there in a democratic form of government. So friends, when we talk about the philosophy of any political party or any political form of government, then it reflects in the education system also, for designing curriculum, for for framing the rules and regulations, the laws. So highly that was influenced by the political system of the country. So friends, accordingly, judiciary is also a part of education system. You will find that in the education system, it may be school education, it may be higher education, how to protect the right of the children, how to protect the right of the citizen. So that is also being a part of education system. Friends, when you talk about the Constitution of India, you will find that we have talked about equity, we have talked about equality, we have talked about quality. And let me to give one example, very pertinent example. When you talk about the Right to Education Act, RT Act 2009, which has implemented in India in the year 2000, 2000 on 1st April 2010, this has been implemented. So, in different sections and different subsections of Right to Education Act in India, you will find that there is a reflection of political willpower. Okay, because as I have said, that a democratic country considers the citizen is the powerful. Okay, a citizen is the powerful. A citizen has enough power, enough energy. Okay, for his or her own development, and the development of individual is also directly linked with the development of the nation, development of the society. So that's why this has been reflected in the Right to Education Act, for providing equal education to the children. This is the responsibility of the state to provide free and compulsory education to the children of the state. Education is a state subject, it is in the concurrent list. So in this act, guidelines has been given to the states that the state will provide free education, free and compulsory education to all the children of the age group of 6 to 14. This is not only to provide equal educational opportunity, rather how to provide quality education. And so far as the minority section is concerned, so far as the socially weaker section is concerned, economically weaker section is concerned, that how to lead that section of population, that section of children to the mainstream of the society, and at least to provide a minimum standard of education, an average standard of education. That means how to achieve equity with equality. That has also been discussed in the Right to Education Act. And friends, we are discussing about the judiciary system. So here also in the Right to Education Act, you will find that how to protect the right of the children. So in this act, this has also talked about NCPCR and SCPCR, National Council of Protection of Child Right, National Commission for Protection of Child Right, and State Commission for Protection of Child Right. Means in the educational institutions, if there is any violation of the right of the child, it may be physical assault, it may be mental harassment, you will find that any child can come to the judiciary system for justice. So that's why we are talking about a democratic form of government. So in a democratic form of government, you will find that the policies, the laws that has been framed, keeping in consideration the citizen at a center. So friends, in a democratic country, citizens are not considered as a subject. Okay, citizens are considered as a citizen, as a, you can say, it's a powerful agent, as a powerful element of the society, and the progress of the citizen, the progress of the individual, directly linked with the progress of the state, directly linked with the progress of the nation. So in this way, you will find that it may be different political parties in a democratic country, still then all the political parties are having these similar types of you can say vision, similar types of concept, because they understand the constitution of a democratic country, that all are considered as equal, with providing equity to the community. So friends, when we talk about the religion and minority, you will find that when we talk about the Constitution of India, in Indian Constitution, in different sections, different subsections, in different articles, you will find that how to safeguard the religious practice. Even if different religious group, they have also given certain autonomy, that they can also run their own institute, okay, educational institute, they can also run their own school. So you will find such things in a democratic country. Means the religious groups, they are also given uh, you know uh, certain power and certain permission for running the educational institute. Then further, when we talk about, this is also part of politics, when we talk about business and industry, you see it is related. Business and industry is related with politics. At the same time, accordingly, the education policies, the education schemes, education projects, that also develop. You see, when we talk about the business and industry, you will find that for trade and commerce in a country, a huge manpower is required, a huge human resource is required, trained resource is required, trained human resource is required, development of science and technology is required. So keeping in consideration of the development of industry, development of trade and commerce in a country, maybe in any form of government, any form of government, may be a democratic form of government or maybe a communist or fascist form of government, you will find that for the development of trade and commerce, for the development of business, they design their education, they design their curriculum accordingly. They run many courses, many programs relating to trade and commerce, so that they can train the group of people. Those can work in different trade and commerce, those can work in different business for the development of the country. So accordingly, different professional programs, different technical programs, also you'll find in different committees and commissions, they have given their recommendation for the development of trade and commerce. Such type of courses, such type of technical, professional and vocational courses should be offered. And when we talk about especially in the context of education in India, the system of education in India, you will find that as per the National Policy on Education (NP) in 1986 till today, we practice 10 plus 2 plus 3 system of education, means 10 years of school education, then 2 years of senior secondary education, or that's called as the junior education or higher secondary education, then further 3 years of graduation. Okay, you see, after completion of the 10th course or 10th board or 10th class, you will find that one can also pursue certain vocational, can take admission in certain vocational program. So why this vocational program? It may be agriculture, related to agriculture, related to other areas of technical education. So this is because for creating a group of manforce power for working in different industry, for working in different trade and commerce. So that's why the political parties or the form of government in a country, they also decide, they also take certain steps that how to prepare the citizen, how to professionally skill the citizen, so that they can participate in different trade and commerce. And accordingly, because the development of the country depends upon the development of the individual. So that's why in this unit you will find that such things have been discussed. And further, education system have been discussed. Just like you will find that in an educational system, what are the components? You will find different levels of education, curriculum, purpose and philosophy, progress of study, educational administration, teaching, pedagogical method, teaching learning materials, organizational structure, administrator, teacher, students, parents, community, co-curricular activities. So these are the certain components of education, components of education system. And friends, when we talk about the components of political system, this is very much clear that we can say that the form of government or the central government, state government, local government in the context to India, we have a union government or the central government, then we have different state governments at the state level, then we have local government. Local government means that we call as the Panchayat Raj system. Okay, so at the Panchayat level you will find that local government is there, Sarpanch is there, and they take care the panchayat, they take care of the village areas, the ground level, you can say. Then in a political system, you will find the legislative branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch, political parties, social class and groups, minorities and ethnic groups, business and unions. So friends, so these are the component, but you will find that these components are interlinked with each other. So many a time, you can just give many beautiful example. When you talk about Right to Education Act 2009, as per the Right to Education Act 2009, there is the provision for formation of the SMC, School Management Committee. You will find that in School Management Committee, who will be the member? Those can means that committee will work for the development of the school. That committee will work for the overall development of the school. So who will be the member of the committee? You will find that teachers are the member of the community, parents are the member of the community, for students, for children are studying in the school. Then other community members are also member of the SMC, School Management Committee. At the same time, the members of the local government, okay, it may be sarpanch, it may be a ward member of the panchayat, they are also member of the SMC. So friends, when we talk about the education system and the political system, you will find that very much both the systems are related with each other. Okay, so the political system that work for the educational system, for the development of the educational system, and at the same time, educational system that also implement the provisions that has been kept in the constitution. So that's why when we talk about the equality, the equity, the quality, then definitely we will find that who will work for maintaining the equality, for achieving the equality, for achieving the equity, okay, for providing quality education. So this is the willpower of the state, this is the willpower of the government, but who will implement it? You will find that this will be implemented by education department, by the system of education, different components of education. Okay, you will find that in Right to Education Act, this has been discussed, that this is the responsibility, certain responsibility has been given to the parents, certain responsibility has been given to the community members, because the development of the school, development of education, this is not an isolated matter. The development of education is directly linked with you can say the involvement of the community member, involvement of the parents. So that's why different stakeholders in education, they also involved in the system of education, and that is also being practiced in our constitution, at the same time in different forms of government. So friends, we are talking about 10 plus 2 plus 3 system as per the recommendation of National Police and Education 1986. But after many years now, the National Education Policy NEP 2020 that has been come out, it has been approved just before few days. This has been approved by the Central Cabinet. So you will find that there will be a paradigm shift so far as the education system is concerned in this country. It may be related to school education, related to higher education, technical education, and related to programs also, different programs. So what are the different programs the institute will run for the betterment and for the development of the citizen of this country? So friends, this is the major things that has been discussed in this unit, that is your educational goal as reflective of socio-political ideology of the society. So the ideology of the society, you will find that this ideology is framed as per the form of the government, and accordingly the form of government also reflected in the education system. Okay, what will be the curriculum, what the students will study at the primary classes, what content will be kept at the secondary classes, at the higher secondary classes, in technical and engineering branches. So what are the different courses, different programs we will keep, so that for the the citizen of this country will develop, and ultimately the development of the state, the development of the nation, development of the country depends upon the development of the individual. So friends, this is a very good unit. From this unit you will find out that how socio-political system has been discussed, and that has been linked with the education for framing policies. And further, as I have already said, that in your course MES 014 societal context of education, you will find that this concept has been discussed in a very beautiful way in that course. Okay, so minutely each and every aspect that has been discussed, but here in a very brief, only the context, only the perspective has been discussed. So friend, today we discussed the unit 9 of MES 011 understanding education, and in our next program we will discuss unit 10. Thank you.